is Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Carter will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
Yes! The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slam dunk.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper for another one of our 2021-2022 season previews. Tapping into diehard fans and local fans. For today, we're going to return the favor. I was featured on their podcast a couple months back. A team that we talked about a lot as one of our Dime Dropper teams last year, the Atlanta Hawks. Joining us, we have TJ from the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports podcast. Welcome to the show.
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing tonight? How you doing today? This afternoon.
I'm doing well. Obviously, I'm still 3 hours behind you guys over there. So
yeah.
I'm going to the Dodger game a little bit later. So I'm excited. You got your Braves in the playoffs too.
We start in a couple of minutes, 20 minutes. We got our game starts in 20 minutes. So yeah.
I won't take away too much of your time. But so let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, last season was a very interesting season, but an exciting one, getting back to contention. The best actual finish of the Atlanta Hawks, I believe.
Since 2016. Well, actually, no. So
2015, you guys
2015, yeah.
You guys had a better record, but you guys got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
This time, you guys actually were 2 games away from getting to the finals. And if my memory and my basketball history knowledge serves me correctly, I don't think since the Hawks moved to Atlanta, I don't think you've gone that close to the championship before.
Yeah, since 2015 and 2020 are the two times. 2021 are the 2 times we've gotten close.
Yeah, and I think so. This one was the closest. It was an amazing season. I watched a lot of your games with Lloyd Pierce. You were 14-20. The second you brought in McMillan, everything changed. Trae was more unselfish, taking better shots, and the rest of the team started getting healthy, and everything started working out. So building off of that, you guys obviously beat the Sixers. That was a huge upset.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking going into this season? You got DeAndre Hunter coming back from injury. Trae's coming off the best year of his career. John Collins is locked in now. So what's your I'm guessing high expectations for you guys.
Yeah, as an analyst, I say we're top 5. As a fan, we're saying we're number 1. Because if you look at the East, the hardest teams coming out the East will be Milwaukee, of course. It'll be Milwaukee. I still think Kyrie's Nets are still a tough team. Mm-hmm. And then you still have Philly. Now that Ben Simmons back, we don't know. He's in Philadelphia. We don't know if he's leaving or not. And then you still have the Heat. So that's why I say we're top 5. We're in that mix with those groups. Mind you, we get DeAndre back. Cam is healthy. And Cam, I don't know if you watched the preseason game, Cam had a great third, fourth quarter. And he had a great third, fourth quarter versus the Heat in this preseason game. He had a really good game. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird kind of scenario because everybody thinks we could have made the finals last year. If Trae doesn't get hurt, in the last game, we probably win. We probably go to the finals, and I don't say we win, but I say we might win because we might have beat that Phoenix team. So this year, teams reloaded. Like I said, the Heat got Kyle Lowry, and then they get PJ Tucker, and so we play them, and we play them 3 times. That's the division rival. So we win the division last year. We beat them. We beat everybody in the division. Mind you, our division isn't that well. It's not that good, but we still beat the Heat. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Heat are this and this." So this year, if we stay healthy, I think it's another run year. I think we can get back to the Eastern Conference Finals very quickly.
One of the teams you didn't mention was the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you still feel as though they're still going to be right up there above?
Yeah, the Bucks will be. They might. My top 5 it's still Milwaukee, Brooklyn. It's not in order. Milwaukee, Brooklyn, the Heat, the Hawks, and Philly. That's still my top 5. Chicago is another team that might creep in because they have talent, but you just don't know with that team.
Yeah, I think all the teams you mentioned were good. The biggest question mark I obviously have is Philadelphia. I don't know what's going to happen there. It's kind of similar to how when I was doing previews last season with the Rockets, I didn't really know where to place them because I didn't know what the future of James Harden would look like. But I think going into the season for the Hawks, it's going to be good. I mean, Trae's coming off a great year. Talk about the impact that he's made on the Hawks, the city. And obviously last year he was getting a lot of scrutiny in the beginning of the year. But the second Nate McMillan came in, it seemed like all the negatives just kind of went away. And everybody was feeding off of him. And it didn't seem like it was just feeding off his play. He really looked like he was making everybody better instead of just catch and shoot, just watch Trae work all the time.
Yeah, so Trae Young, when Nate McMillan came into Atlanta, he came as a coach, as an assistant coach. Everybody was like, well, that'll help Lloyd out because you got a real coach on the coaching staff. Then we start 14-20. When we beat Brooklyn, everybody was like, okay, so that'll save Lloyd's job.
Early in the season, right?
Yeah, that was like the first couple of games. We was like, okay, Lloyd his job might get saved now.
Yeah.
Then slowly but surely we kept losing. We lost to Cleveland in a game when they had like a game-winning alley. Basically, we lost to Dallas on national TV. I don't even if you guys remember that game. We lost because remember Gallo got the ball and just flopped. So we got to So we got to Nate, and everything just felt different with Nate. We got another close scenario. We get to Toronto, last minute shot. We have a set play, and we have plays where guys are going to get the ball, and Tony Snell hits the game winner. So when you think about what Trae's impact is on this team, he's the leader. He's made the city happy. Like when the Trae Young ones came out, my whole timeline was full of people just buying Trae Young ones and getting them in the mail and showing them off. Like we haven't had a player have their own shoe here in Atlanta. We haven't had a player have basically their own brand with Adidas. We've never had a player with this much impact. Like, I mean, you had ISO Joe, you had Josh Smith, but these guys aren't Trae Young level. Trae Young is basically a superstar at this point. Like, he's now international. I mean, he's at an international level now.
After leading you guys to the conference finals in his first ever playoff run, dude, the guy is like a couple months younger than me. Like and especially he's not even that much taller than me. Like he's so confident.
He's a stat padded 6'1". He's a stat padded 6'1". He's not 6'1". Like if you look at him standing up, you'll be like, oh yeah, he's not 6'1". Like he's a stat padded 6'1", which is not a problem. I mean, you want him, you want him. I want to see him do well. I mean, he did great. Like the injury hurt us a lot. We won the one game with the injury, and that as you saw after that one game, you saw the team kind of sort of like it just we were really excited, and then it just like slowed all the way down. So it's like when you have a leader like that, and then he helps John. He's made John a lot better. If you go from John's first year without Trae to John with Trae over these last couple of years, John has developed into a three-point shooter because like Trae has made this team be a floor space team because Trae Trae likes the lane. He likes to drive. He likes to cook. But mind you, people like to collapse on Trae because they think he's small and he can't get out of it. Now he's one of the best. Yeah, he almost had 10 assists this year, and he averaged like 9.6 or something. Like he's gonna get a 20 and 10 year. He's gonna get a Steve Nash type year. So my thing is, I think he almost led the league. I think Russ is the only person that passed him this year in assists.
Yeah, 9.4 assists in the regular season.
9. So it's gonna constantly get bigger and bigger for him. So I think that's the only thing, man. It's like I think it's the team in general. It's just like the team is so built around Trae this year. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be really nice.
What's crazy to think about is last year, because of your early struggles, Trae Young wasn't even an all-star last year, which now is looking insane. I mean, he's gonna be, I'd say, probably the starter this year. I can't think of anybody else that would have that spot over him. I mean, Kyle Lowry is not as good as him anymore. No. Kyrie Irving has a whole ordeal with going on over there. Yeah. So I think Trae Young will probably be a starting point guard for the East. I think in the pick and roll, I mean, he's one of the best players in the league now because you can't go under the screen. He's got a great jump shot. You go over the screen, he's got that great floater. It'll be interesting to see if he incorporates a little bit more mid-range, but it's also harder.
He is. His training videos all summer have been all mid-range videos.
Hey, that's the next step.
Yeah, that was – and it's a funny quote. He was on the shop with the Braun show and Rich Paul. He was on the shop, and he said, people always are going to associate me with Luka. And he said, I don't care about the whole Luka hype and all of that. He said, I want to be AI. I want to be Chris Paul. I want to be Steve Nash. Like, he has bigger goals set. And he's showing you now, like like preseason, now he had a thigh contusion in preseason, but before, like, he's been shooting mid ranges like crazy, like, and that's really what he needed because it was like he was a 2-level scorer.
Yeah,
because he didn't use his mid range. Now, if you give him 3 levels, it's going to be super hard to guard him if you give him space anywhere.
Yeah, it's just the only thing I would say is hard with mid-range for smaller guys like that is when they're contested, it's hard to get it off, like especially when you see congestion. But, there are ways you can find it. I mean, Chris Paul, we had him here in L.A. He finds a way to weave through those screens and get to his mid-range spots. So it'll be interesting to see that with Trae. As far as the other guys, you don't really have a bona fide second all-star, but you have a lot of players that are like right below that all-star level, like John Collins, who just came off a very solid year, got better with McMillan. Bogdanovich, who was injured, but when he came back, he was lights out. I mean, 47% shooting, 44 from 3. And then Capella had a really solid year. So what do you think of the supporting cast, and do you think there'll be any progression or like regression? Obviously, DeAndre Hunter coming back is big.
Yeah, I was just say that's
your best
the biggest thing. So DeAndre Hunter is my favorite player on this Hawks team.
Okay,
I love Trae Young.
You get more than Trae.
They like level, but I love DeAndre Hunter. So my thing, I like DeAndre Hunter in college. I love him at Virginia. Mm-hmm. So when you get to DeAndre in Atlanta, first year he has a great, rising star, all of that. Mm-hmm. Last year he got rising star again, but he was hurt, and they didn't even do the rising star game, so he got hurt. Mm-hmm. So you get him into a point where now you have JC, who is now your set power forward. JC is your power forward for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Capella had just got a 3-year extension, so he's your center for the next basically 5 years. And then Bogey's here till 2023, I think. I have to pull it up. I think he's here till 2023, and then DeAndre's here till he's gonna get an extension too. And it's so funny because I like our starters. I love them. I love all our starters, but the pieces we have on the bench is what makes me more excited because Kevin Huerter could go for 6 men of the year this year.
Dude, he's a stud, man. He can score. When you saw him,
he's a scoring machine.
Game 7 against the Sixers, man, that was big time.
Yeah. He wears 3 for D Wade. Like that's like he's one of my candidates for 6 men of the year because I can see he's gonna be our 6th man. Cam Reddish is another piece where if he stays healthy all year and he progresses, it's gonna be crazy.
Talk to me about him for a second. I didn't get to see too much Hawks his first year, but his second year last year, it looked like, the guy's got good defensive potential. And he has good offensive potential too, but it seems like his shot is very inconsistent and his confidence goes up and down. So what are your thoughts on him? I've seen some Hawks fans seem like they get impatient with him. Is there any chance that you still think that he can still become he was a lottery pick. He was very hyped up in college at Duke. So what are your thoughts of him?
I have faith in McMillan. Okay. Because the reports we got out of the locker room when Lloyd got fired was that he was basically bullying him. So we haven't seen him with a good coach. Let's put it like that. Mm-hmm. With somebody that's actually going to take time to develop him. Okay. And everybody knows McMillan is a defensive. He's one of the best defensive players of all time. So then you bring in his son. You bring in Van Exel, who's definitely going to help Trae, and he's going to help all our guards, really and truly. So everything, Nick Van Exel was a coach on the Hawks.
Oh wow, that's awesome. He's big time working in LA.
So that's why I say that's going to be a great he's a great addition to this. So that's what I'm saying. Everything is kind of sort of forming together. Like it's like when you watch Avengers, the Infinity Rings were just slowly. That's basically what it is like. It's slowly but surely, and I think for Cam, people want to push Cam because, like you said, lottery pick. Like high pick, right at we draft DeAndre at 4. You see DeAndre have instant success, and then Cam. Cam's been hurt so much, he hasn't had a full season. Yeah. This is year 3.
He only played 26 games last year, it says.
Yeah, so he's never had a full game season. I think this is a season where he's completely healthy. This offseason, he didn't do summer camp, which everybody thought he was. He was going to do summer league. Didn't do summer league. He stayed at home, rested his body. He was in Vegas, though. He did go to Vegas and, travel with the guys. But he didn't play. And I think he looks good. I mean, he can't – it just takes, like I say, a lot of the stuff with this team last year, I was preaching patience. mind you, this is when Lloyd was here, and I was, preaching it like, man, just be patient. When we got Nate, it was like full go. Because mind you, when Nate started, we went on a 8-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, this team is built to win. But everybody else on this team is just fun. I mean, Lou Will's still here. Solo's still our mean guy off the bench. He's the guy that'll go in and get a flagrant foul for you. Like, you still have the guy.
Laker fans have had it with that fool.
They were mad. And I don't even think that play was really. I don't think
it was intentional either. But
no, he just went for the ball, and LeBron is huge. They're both two big bodies diving at the ball, and LeBron ankle got caught. But it's like you still got these guys. Mind you, we signed DeLon Wright. You draft Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper, which Sharif Cooper at 48 was an absolute steal. If you watch him in preseason, he was going right at John Morant, right at these guys that have been in the league for a little bit. And so it's a fun young team. Let's put it like that. Like, this is a fun young team.
I was also going to ask, so looking at your team statistics last year, your offense was, I remember in the beginning of the season, at least with Pierce, it was all offense and the defense was unreliable. McMillan came in and shored it up a little bit. Also, not having DeAndre Hunter really hurts the defense. I think he's one of the most versatile defenders on your team, one of the better ones. What do you expect to see out of the defensive side of things? Because you guys are going to score points. Like, you will score points. Yeah. You have weapons all over the floor. And as you said, Trae is the type of guy who gets so much attention. And with the weapons you guys have, I mean, I had Gallinari and Lou Williams on my team, and I know what they're like. And, Lou, obviously, he's not he can be a complete liability on defense, but his offense is – he looked good in the playoffs for you guys, especially in some of those games against Philly. Gallo, though, in the playoffs looked like he had injuries in the season. But what do you think? Give me your thoughts on those two.
I love Lou, and I love Lou because what Lou does for the team. Mm-hmm. Lou is that cool vet. Lou is like that old school, like, back in 01, I was out here playing basketball while y'all was kids. Like, he one of those guys. He's still cooking. Like, he's not he's still out here going at people. Like, he's not scared for the moment. So, and then Gallo's Gallo, man. Gallo's gonna score. Gallo's gonna sit at. Gallo had some moments where we were like, "Whoa, Gallo!" Like, he crossed up PJ Tucker, and we were like, "Oh, whoa!"
No,
like,
trust me, when he came to the Clippers, the first full season he had, because he was really injured the first year, 2018. That 2019, some things that he does, man, like some of the shots he hits, the contested, you think are like star level shots. Like, he's a shot maker. That dude, he's a shot. And maker.
It's really weird because you don't expect Gallo to be like that. Like, I would be honest, I don't expect to see Gallo, like, do crossovers and do spin moves and be dunking on folks. And, he's not older, but he's an older guy, and he's still doing young guy stuff. Like, you can't leave Gallo on an island because he will shoot over you and make it because he's 6'10".
Yeah,
like, it's really he's really big, and people don't understand. Like the thing, like, that's why I say this team is just built around Trae, because even when Gallo's on the court, that Gallo's gonna stand on the line. That's why I say this is, and defensively, we play. It's gonna be. I think it'll be more of a zone type thing this year. I think we'll see a lot more. I think we'll still see man to man on certain players. Like, when we play the Bucks, John or Capella is probably gonna guard Giannis. Like, because Capella doesn't do a bad job. Capella did a great job on Embiid. Everybody thought Embiid scored 30 points. He scored 30 points by the fourth quarter. He couldn't even walk down the court.
That's true.
So
he got gassed every time.
Yeah, and Capella played him right. And I don't want to. Everybody's like, that's like lackadaisical defense. He's playing him how he knows how to play him. And he said in his press conference, he said, "Yeah, those guys get tired by the fourth quarter," and he did. Every game, Joel Embiid was tired by the fourth quarter. So defensively, it just is matchup based, kind of sort of. I think it'll be team based, matchup based. But I would expect to see a lot of 2-3. Because we love to have Capello in the center and like right under the basket. Because Trae can get blown by sometimes, but you got Capella standing there, or John is right there, or DeAndre is right there. Those guys have huge long arms. So
John has definitely come some ways defensively a little bit. He's a high flyer, and he comes over those weak side blocks and sometimes takes charges now. Yeah, I was going to say. So my last question for you is, how has Capella been received? You guys enjoying him, and how's he been since that was such a controversial move for Houston?
Oh, we love him. I hate that. I hate. Well, my thing is, for them, I'm just like, that was a bad move. Because mind you, like, Capella came here. He was hurt his first year here. Well, he got here like halfway through the season. So he gets here last year, and he's just like, oh, Capella's the center now. And mind you, everybody knows Capella because of the Harden. And, everybody was watching the Rockets in the playoffs. It was like, Capella's not bad. I was like, Capella's going to be great.
Especially that lob threat with Trae Young. I mean, we saw Harden and Capella lobs all day long. Now it's Trae and Capella.
And we get to like the first game, and Trae already throwing lobs to Capella. And it's preseason games. And we're just like, oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. And from then on, I mean, the rest of the season, when you watch it, what was Trae doing? And he had a lob threat the whole time. Mind you, and that's why John Collins' role was reduced. And I think people were so worried about why is John Collins not getting the ball. Capella is playing the center role now. John's not playing that center role. He doesn't have to play the pick and roll because now we have 2 lob threats. So that's the only thing now, but I love Capella, man. Like I said, he got 3 extra years on the contract now. So he's probably going to be, unless we trade him, he's the center of the future.
My last question is, do you think John Collins can turn into a guy that can be a guy you can throw the ball to and say, get me a bucket, as opposed to just off the flow of the offense? Do you think that he has the potential to progress into like a second star kind of guy?
If he gets a handle, yes. If he's
what
working
about
on his handle.
Or like a post game. What about
post up definitely. If you get him match up, or if you get him where he can turn, because he like Philly, Tobias Harris can't guard John Collins. Yeah. I think people don't realize John Collins is 6'10". So I mean he's a taller guy. So he gets in a post and you can't guard him, or you don't put a body on him. He's gonna make it in the post. He's a good post scorer. He has a good turnaround, Jay. He has a good hook. He
should go to it more. I mean, people used to make that's what people used to make their living off back in the NBA.
Yeah. So and now he has a spot up 3. He has a catch and shoot 3. So now it's like, okay, yeah, we can see it where it's happening now. And that's why I say this team is a 4 and out. It can be a 4 and out, or it can really be a 4 and out. But I think Capella is the only one that's stopping it from being a true 4 and out, because Capella's gonna play in that post role, or he's gonna be the pick and roll guy with the lob. Yeah. So that's gonna be the fun part about this team.
I was gonna say, give me your final. Where do you think you're gonna finish? I got you guys around like the 4 or 5 range. Maybe 3, but I don't know. I feel like everyone's hyping up the Heat a lot. I feel pressured to put them in my top 3, but I don't know. I think you guys could still be better.
I say 3. I say Bucks. I say Bucks. I say Nets, and I say Hawks. And that's the 3 I think. And I don't think that's the final order, because I don't know if you remember, when Nate McMillan took over, we would have been number 1. And really in the NBA, we were on pace. If we had him from the beginning of the season, we would have been number 1 seed. So that's why I say the Bucks Bucks and Nets are always going to be 1 and 2. But I think the Hawks in some way, somehow, especially with what the Nets are going through, to slide into 2. Or it just depends on – I mean, this team really and truly –
you just got to hope Trae stays healthy. If he's the type of guy that your team is built, like if he goes down for 20 games, it's going to be a struggle.
It's going to be we don't want that. I think everything now. That's why he hasn't played. He didn't play preseason. As soon as he got his stock in Tuesday, we were like, you're not playing. You can sit on the bench. So we're 9 days away, man. So we're just getting ready for that. I think Hawks fans as a whole are like, we're just ready for it. I think we're just ready for the season to start.
Hey, man, it's great to hear the optimism in the ATL. Before we end, you want to give your guys a shout out? Definitely let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube at Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Call on Tyrone ATL. You can find the page FILA_SP on Twitter. Probably Dom will probably put it somewhere so you guys can see it.
I'll get it in the description. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be at FILA_SP. Like I said, YouTube is Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. And we are on Facebook. It's the same name on all of them. And definitely, if you wanted to follow me, because I will be posting a lot of Hawks stuff, I will be probably the Hawks guy for the rest of the season. So definitely hit me up. You guys, and everybody is welcome on my show. I do a post-game show, so everybody is welcome on my show. So if you want to come on, you can come on.
For sure. Make sure you check them out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks for joining me.